Our understanding of progress and development and governance is changing so fast, and there's no way you can actually come up with interesting ideas and innovative plans unless you exchange views with a variety of sectors. And I think a conference like this provides the perfect opportunity for that.
So for me, it's really wonderful to come back into this environment and be able to reflect with some of the great minds on the continent and globally on what those challenges are.
I think we're living through a time where our certainties around democracies are unhinged. And so sitting in a kind of serious, engaged conversation about what is a big question has been very valuable.
A conversation like this 10, 20 years ago would have focused on traditional forms of democratic governance like parliaments, ethics, leadership, transparency, freedom of information, party funding, anti-corruption institutions. But we have to think way beyond that. We have to think about, for example, the worlds of energy and water and demographic change. We have to understand technology better, ICT, the huge changes in what people are calling the third industrial revolution or even the fourth industrial revolution. These are powerful forces hitting society and the economy, and we can't think about democracy and governance in a bubble. These things are interwoven.
This kind of space has been very helpful for me, given that as IDRS, is someone who works for a research support organization. We work with researchers from think tanks, from universities, and we also provide capacity building support and expertise. So it's very much important to be aware of conversations that are taking place at a broader level.
The idea of bringing people from different countries and come together, and especially this historic week in South Africa with the motion in Parliament against President Zuma, it's quite useful for us to see how democracy works in South Africa.
It's also been helpful to have 2 or 3 older, experienced politicians who have been excellent facilitators, but also have brought some very wise judgments to bear.
Sitting in a room with the likes of Trevor Manuel, Carlos Lopez, Kosana Moyo, you don't always get opportunities like that.
These dialogues are fundamentally important. I think that they exist too sparsely across the African continent. There are too few occasions where thinkers and practitioners get together and talk about issues.
The critical reflections and insights that have come through on a topic such as accountability and inclusivity, which has seen a variety of speakers actually tackling it from different angles, which for me was quite valuable.
And I think the acknowledgement of the important role of communities, women, youth, I think that was for me quite interesting. That stood out.
Gender and women's roles are structurally being unsettled, and so we need to have a new paradigm, not only within which to think about the way that we bring gender into the dialogue and into the discourse, but also how to place gender within a global framework that is in transformation.
The world is changing. What I knew growing up, what I know now, is not what it's going to be in the next couple of years. And we need to take that all in and strategize around that. So I found that very intriguing.
And we might need to be a little bolder in trying to reject the existing structures and develop something new that is particularly relevant to our own local contexts.
I think this is really unprecedented. It's commended, but we need to expand this because this is what my generation needs if we must change the continent. Deepening democracy is about engaging the system throughout the electoral cycle, and I see that as a strong message that I'm going to be taking back home in engaging citizens and educating them and looking at strategic points of entry. And these entry points do exist, be it in our constitution or be it in subsidiary legislations, but empowering citizens using diverse tools and offline and social media tools are very, very critical, and that's one significant outcome of this meeting.
I would encourage such gatherings. Academics, practitioners, we all need to talk. And I think that can change the landscape of the continent. I've enjoyed this experience thoroughly.